This movie will be on how to use Carlson Point Cloud Advanced 2019 to take a scan that's at 0,0,0 or near that origin and register it to be in State Plane, Pennsylvania South, NAID 83, and then bring it in using the new command, draw as object, as you can see right here. So if I pick here, type E for erase, it's gone. And you can see that I brought in these wall shots and we're going to erase those too. So I'm going to come up here and do erase points. And it says by number, and numbers to erase, I'll just say 6 through 9. Erase associated line work, and I'll say yes. Okay, so now before I get started, I do want to point out that there are targets in the scan, 5, and I've field surveyed these same targets using a robot. And let me type in plan now. Extents. And this is where I want to be. Actually, let's do this. E for erase, all. R for remove. And let's remove these right there. Let's do zoom extents. And now we only have that portion of the drawing. All right, back to the targets. Now, if I type I for inverse, type in 2001. There's the first target. It's on a pole, and you'll be seeing that in the scan. I'll be picking that one, 2002. And there's a target on the wall by the patio, 2003. Another target on the wall, 2004. That's on the steps. And then 2005, there's a target that's on the sidewalk, or the ground on the sidewalk. Okay, now let's go to Point Cloud and pick Point Cloud Manager. And this loads up the previous, here I'm going to close that. And you can see that we had Point Cloud already loaded. But I'm going to create a new Point Cloud and start from scratch. We are in Point Cloud Advanced 2019. So we're going to pick New. Project was modified, save. We'll say yes, we'll save. And now we're going to make a new one, and we're going to call this DPI-2. You can see it's a completely blank new file. First thing that we want to do is highlight and hit the right key and pick Import and bring in a Leica PTS file. There's the file. This was done with the dot product DPI-7 hand scanner. And it will now start importing the Leica PTS file, and it will convert it to the Carlson Point Cloud format, which we call Terrasat. And it's a point cloud format that was developed entirely in-house by Carlson Software, controlled and modified internally at Carlson Software. So I'm going to put it on pause while we wait for it to import. Okay, we're coming to the end of the import, or importing cloud data. And there we go. And you can see there's the cloud, there's the Carlson Point Cloud. And if I come down, before I do view and make a scene, I want to go down here and do properties. And you can see that this one hand scan, it consists of 26 million plus points. There is intensity, that is dark to light, in the points or stored in each point. And there is color, red, green, and blue. And there is no classification. these are the bounding coordinates of this hand-scanned .product point cloud. And you can see it's very close to the origin, or 0, 0, 0. So I'm going to pick the close button here. And we next want to come down here, hit the right key, and we're going to pick View. And it says, what do we want to view? We want to view a color point cloud, and there's only one setting or type, direct. And we're going to bring it in isometric view. And we hit the green check OK. And there is the data. Now, I'm going to scroll this over. You can see that when you have the Z there, it can pan or twirl, spin it around 360. If you move inside there, you can do a 3D orbit and twist it that way. So you can pretty much get it to any angle that you want. All right, now let's window up this first target right there. So you can see there is my first target, and I'm going to show you how we pick those targets right now. So I guess the first thing I'll do is I'll come down here, and we're going to do what I call slice and dice. So I pick the action button, I pick window, and it says pick first corner point. I'm going to pick right there, come up here, pick right there, and notice that it turns it red or highlights it. Now I'm going to do invert so that everything else is highlighted but that area, and then I pick hide, and it will hide that area. Now I'm going to move this over, and I don't need anything but this target. So now I'm going to come up and do perimeter and pick here, pick here, pick here, pick there, hit return. Again, I'm going to do invert. I'm going to do hide. And now all I have is, if I come back to I come up here and I do zoom extents, that's all I have showing right there. So it's going to be pretty straightforward for me to pick that spot there and have no other point behind it or in front of it get in the way. So at this point, I'm in Action tab, and I'm going to come down and pick Point to create a point or a coordinate point. And the point number will be 11, and let's type in 101. And right now it says wall. I'm going to go to code, go up to control, and we'll just hit, we'll call it stake. Not that it is, but we'll just do that. And I pick this, and I'm going to come up here, and you see that little blue box. That's pretty close to where I want it to be. So I pick there, and it's easy to zoom out and see it better right there. Now, you know what? I'm going to do it again. 101, and now it says replace duplicate. I'll pick that. And I think I like that where that is. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to end action. And you would do that for the other 4 targets right there. I'm going to do show all. Bring them all back on again. And I'll show you where the other targets are. But I've already done this. So that's the other target right there. And come over. And by the way, notice this. We have a red vase on the porch here on the back right there. So these points right there, you can see that you can see through it. As I zoom up, it's hard to see, but there it is. So be aware that you could occasionally, when you pick, accidentally pick behind the front of the retaining wall right there. I can make the wall maybe thicker so I don't see behind it. And doing that, I can go to cloud point size here, and I can pick, there's 3. I kind of got rid of most of the red. I do see some reds right there. If I pick, again, 4, let's go up to 5. I don't see any red now. You know, the points are getting thicker. Let's go back look at the points right there. You can see the little pixel sizes get smaller and smaller. And now they're back to the way they were. And again, I can see through, so it's not opaque. These point clouds, they look opaque until you zoom up. And that's why I hid all behind the column here, so I didn't accidentally pick behind it. But anyway, with that said, that's point number 1. There's point number 2. There's point number 3. Point number 4 is on the sidewalk down here, or on the curvature of the steps there. And this one's pretty hard to see. That one's right there. That's the 5th one. Okay, so let's go back to project and go down to hit this plus key here, and this is only in advanced, not in basic. First thing I want to do is bring in the control points. So I hit here and I do import. And I want to import the control points, which I have named it control 201 to 205. I pick open. And I've already set up a format here. I pick that. I don't want to bring in the first column. That's the header. And everything else is correct. Y is Y, X is X, Z is Z, description is description. And it's comma delimited, and I pick the green check. And there are no duplicates, but I'll just pick replace duplicates. I come up here, and it says we have 5 points. Very nice. Now, if I pick here, hit the right key, and pick edit, there are the 5 points. Notice they're in stay plane, point cloud, advanced, and basic. Will show the coordinates or coordinates as X, Y, Z, and that's just the format. But I brought it in as Y, X, Z with point number in the front and description at the end. Pick that. Now let's bring in the control points. Now we know that if I go to edit here, we have point number 101 already. So we're going to compare it to point number 1 that I've already picked these scan points. So I pick scan 1 through 5, and there they are. Pick open, and we'll go up to the presets. I have already preset it. Turn off this one, that header, and pick OK. And that brought in 5 points right now. Okay, let's go right here, double pick. Let's look at point 1 and 101. You can see that's 1 thousandths off, 831 and 2, and 3.56, 3 point, virtually identical. Okay, so that's how you pick the scan points, and you also have to have field surveyed points for those points. Now, let's go up here, and you can see that I want to point out that this scan, if I move my cursor here, look down here in the bottom left here, notice that the coordinates are X, Y, Z are very close to the origin of 0, 0, 0. So what I want to do is come up here, and this is only in advance. You can see point cloud advanced up top. And let's go ahead and save it right now. Hit the right key on the cloud and come down, and you can see there is the menu item. Again, that's only in Point Cloud Advanced 2019. That is the command register. And we're going to pick register. And it comes up, and it's going to create a new cloud, registered cloud, and it will have the same name as the original cloud with a hyphen registered 1 on it. It says match control points to coordinate points, and it says minimum point position error. Now I know it's closer to 0.1, but for safety purposes, just to make sure it processes, I put in 0.25. Minimum references, that is the minimum. You can't go below 3. And if you try to go up higher, it's going to make it just tougher to use all 5 points. So I'm going to tell it to use all of the points, and that's the minimum references needed to process, and you just hit the green button. And now you can see it says transforming cloud data. Now, this is different than other point cloud software that register the point cloud. This point cloud register command in Carlson Point Cloud Advanced 2019 actually not only translate, rotates, and scales the points, but it actually takes the coordinates and changes all these coordinates of the point cloud to be in the system that the field shots came from. So that's why it's taking longer. It's taking all 28 million plus points in the point cloud with intensity, dark to light, and with RGB, red, green, and blue color characteristics, and giving each one of them a new coordinate value, X, Y, and Z. So you can see that is why transforming cloud data takes so long, because it's actually transforming 28 million plus points. Obviously, this is a small point cloud file if it's a scan. Terrestrial scans actually might be closer to this. Terrestrial scans, that's a scan. But UAV, UAS, drone point clouds can generally be about this size, or 100 million points. But terrestrial scans can be very often 100 million to 500 million to a billion points. And you can imagine the time it would take if you had to transform those clouds. So right now, I'm going to pause the movie, wait for it to end this step, and then I'll return back. Okay, well, it just saved this file. Now, notice here that the coordinates are 0, 0. Let's actually move this guy up here and shrink it down to about half the size of the screen. Here, I'll put the background here. The AutoCAD drawing. This is the AutoCAD drawing. Go back here and okay. And we have that. Here, let me move this up. And then move it down. All right. So that is the original coordinates as seen over here, right there. Now, let's first hit this one. Hit right key, come down to properties on this one, and bring it down. And notice that same amount of points. Their intensity is on, the color is on, no classification. What we call regions are defined. It's all one classification or region. That is the point cloud, not broken up into like grass, sidewalk, steps, wall, and those type of regions or classifications. Anyway, now position. Notice that the boundings, minimum, maximum, and the range envelop an area that's in this drawing here. I'm going to hit the green button, and that's this drawing right here. So essentially, it took points that I picked in the scan, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, at the center of the targets that correspond to the same point numbering of 2001. Here you can see 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005. So we'll go back to this menu right here. Okay, let's actually bring it up. So we're going to go to View, and it says Color Direct. Again, that's the recommended one. We'll do isometric, I mean. And it goes full size, and it goes from this direction, but here we'll spin it around with the Z, right about there. And notice that the coordinate values, as I move my cursor through the point cloud, are quite a bit different than they were before. Let's actually minimize this guy and show you firsthand. And we'll just come up here. All right. So as I move my my XY cursor through the point cloud, or in front of the point cloud, you can see the coordinates there are state plane coordinates, X, Y, and Z. And if I come down here and pick on the point cloud, notice that it's X, Y, and Z, but it's closer to the origin. So that is how this command, if I hit the right key on here and come down to register, works. You pick this command, you can see that I'm not going to create another cloud, but I just wanted to show you that you have matched control points by coordinate points or target. Now, had I had target points, I wouldn't have brought them in the scan points here under this. I would have brought it under target points here, the 1 through 5, and it would have compared these control points to these target points. As it was, I went from these control points to these coordinate points, so I just used coordinate points, not target points. That's the only difference between those two. And then the method, minimize point position error, I put in a very high maximum error allowed so that it would, and the minimum references were 3 planes so that it would use the points, and there was other options there matched by point names. You could have similar identical names for the point numbers, 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, and so forth, or you could match by point descriptions. They have to be identical, and use existing references, and that's a fourth option. I just use minimize point position error. So I'm going to cancel that. And it said allow scaling, and I actually didn't allow scaling, so I turned it off. Pick the exit button, and that's how we came up to moving this scan into state plane. So this one here is the registered scan. Now, I'm going to pick this guy here. I'm going to close this guy here, and notice the points are in this area right here. I'm going to close this guy, maximize this guy. Actually, I'm going to hit this guy here, tile windows, and notice what it does. It matches by picking this little button here, tile windows. It allows you to keep the point cloud tool space up and match it so that the rest of the desktop uses this point cloud area where you do all your drafting, viewing, and 3D orbit commands. All right. One new command that is in Carlson Point Cloud Advanced 2019 is the ability to bring a point cloud from Carlson Point Cloud into the DWG AutoCAD or IntelliCAD drawing. And that is done by highlighting it and coming down and doing draw as object. Actually, there's 2 commands, only in advanced, not basic. Draw as points. Now, I wouldn't want to do that. That's 29 million points. I might want to slice and dice and bring in a small area as a group of points. Maybe the center of a tree, like I might want to slice and dice a 5 foot up along a tree to actually define the center of a tree as accurate as possible. But I'm going to use this one right here, draw as object. And what I'll do here, so that you can see it happen at real time, I'm going to move this guy down and just pop it right about there. And I've zoomed out here, so you should see it. Here, I'll pan over. And every time it races, just pick this guy there, and it shows up. Okay, at this point, let's go back to DPI register and come down and do draw as object. Brand new command in 2019 in the advanced version of Carlson Point Cloud. And there you go. It just plopped it right on the screen right there. Here, let's close this guy out. Let's go ahead and save what I've done so far. Let's exit out of here. And you can see that there you have it.